Welcome to asynchronous video number 1. So we're going to look at 2 more problems for these rational functions. One where it crosses the asymptote again, because I know things are weird with those. And then another one where we actually have a slant asymptote. Cool. Okay, let's go. So we're on page 5. So let me zoom sister in. So the first thing I'm going to do here is factor the numerator and denominator. If you don't know how to factor, sorry. Okay, so this will factor to 2x minus 1, x minus 5. This is going to be x plus 1, so we'll just say x plus 1 squared. Okay, so now we're ready to go in and do all of our key features based on these numbers. Domain is what makes your denominator 0, so that'll be -1. So everything except for -1. Okay, a whole is if you crossed out any factors. We did not, so there is no whole. Your vertical asymptote, again, comes from your denominator, so that piece that you skipped over in the domain. So x equals -1. Horizontal asymptote is where we say that acronym, Bobo Bots Eats DC. So I'm going to look at the very beginning of my equation, 2x squared and x squared. The way you determine if it's bigger is based on their exponents. Since they are both x squared, we are going to be doing eats DC. Each are the same, so divide the coefficients. If I divide the coefficients, 2 over 1 is 2. So the horizontal asymptote, y equals 2. We didn't have bots, so we don't have a slant asymptote. My y-intercept, put in 0 for all your x's. You're left with 5 over 1. So 0, 5. Your x-intercepts are the roots in your numerator. So we have 2 roots here. This is 1 over 2 and positive 5. So 1/2 and 5. The last thing we're going to do before we graph is see if it crosses the horizontal asymptote. So if we're going to see if it crosses, we set everything equal to the horizontal asymptote, which is 2. So we're always going to use the horizontal asymptote here. We're going to put it over 1 because we will be cross multiplying. I'm going to use my unfactored form because if I use the factored form, I just have to FOIL anyways. So let's skip that step and use the original. So 2x squared minus blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply. I'll do the 1 times 1 first because it's just the same thing. When you multiply by this 2 though, here in a second, you cannot forget to distribute to every single term. So it'll be 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. So when I go to solve, minus 2x squared, that goes away. I'll add 11x to get 15x over here and subtract the 2 to get 3. That'll be 3 over 15, which is 1/5. So yes, I was able to solve for x, so it does cross. Here's my x value, 1/5. Your y value is always your horizontal asymptote. Make note of that, you're gonna forget. That is your horizontal asymptote. Okay, so let's graph everything we have so far. So first, I'm going to put down the vertical and horizontal asymptotes. So -1 and positive 2. 1, 2. Okay, now plot any points that you have. So 5 we'll say is up there. Okay, 1/2 we'll say is right here. And 5 will be over here. And it crosses at 1/5 too. So it's like right there. Okay, so we got a bunch of crazy stuff oh guys, sorry. There it is. So here's my x-intercepts, my y-intercept, and where it crosses. So we have a bunch of crazy stuff happening right here. So when I graph, when it crosses, let's go back to our notes, let me show you. When it crosses, it's going to cross the asymptote and then get sucked back into the asymptote. So we're crossing the horizontal asymptote. So I'm going to cross the asymptote and then get sucked back in towards that asymptote. Say, whoa. I know. Okay, now we don't know where the other side is. It's either going to be the top left or the bottom left. So we have to see if Anna has a bay. So we look at our denominator. It is squared. That means there is a bay. It's a double factor. Remember, you have to kiss your bay on your vertical asymptote. That's here. So there's the other side to our rational. They have to be next to each other. Cuties. Okay, so there is that one. Now let's go yonder down here to this equation. Again, the first step is still to factor. I'll make sure I'm in the camera this time. So that'll be 2x minus 1, x minus 1. Denominator is chillin'. Cool. So my domain comes from my denominator. I can't have a 2, so I'm going to skip over 2. The whole is the factor that you canceled. We didn't do that. Vertical asymptote is still that 2 again. Horizontal asymptote, so Bobo Bots eats DC. Look at your first term. Here and here. There is a squared and a not squared. That means it's bigger on top. So we have bots for this. Oh my gosh, you're so excited. Since it's bots, bigger on top, slant, I don't have a horizontal asymptote. I'm gonna have a slant asymptote. So let's figure out what she is. It's not gonna cross the horizontal because we don't have a horizontal. Who is this? Get out of here. So I'm gonna use this space to figure out the slant asymptote. The way we figure out the slant asymptote is by doing synthetic division. I divide this polynomial by x minus 2. The root for x minus 2 is 2. Write down our coefficients, 2, -3, 1. Let's do our synthetic. Bring down the 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. This last piece is the remainder. You can ignore her. So we're left with 2 and 1. So my equation is y equals 2x plus 1. That is the equation of our slant asymptote. Since our asymptote is slanted, it has to be the equation of a line to figure out, like, you know, the slope of it. You get it. Let's keep going. Y-intercept, same thing. Cancel out all your x's. You have 1 over -2, so that'll be -1/2. X-intercepts come from the roots in the numerator, so +1, +1/2. And let's put down everything we know. So I'm going to start with the asymptotes. Vertical asymptote at 2. Now my slant asymptote is 2x plus 1. For the 2x plus 1, that is our y-intercept. Y'all know y equals mx plus b. This is our slope. So I'm just gonna kind of guess, y'all. We're sketching here. So +1 is right here. That's my y-intercept. And this looks about like a slope of 2. Don't y'all agree? I agree too. Okay. So here are the 4 quadrants that we typically have. Normally they're beautiful, right? But now one's just kind of slanted. But we're doing everything else exactly the same. So let's plot our intercepts. So we have a y-intercept at -1/2. So that's about there. An x-intercept at 1 and 1/2. So all of our stuff is really scrunched up over here. let me show what I think that probably looks like. So in this section, you're just gonna go around. And again, I have no intercepts that show me where the other part might be. You are either gonna be on the top right or the bottom right. You'll be on the bottom right if you have a bay, if you need a kiss, if there's a double factor. If not, you're gonna go across. So let's look at our denominator. Do we have a double factor? Is it squared? No. So I'm gonna go across. And that's it. Ta-da! Have fun on your assignment.